So today we have a plan. The plan is to go through your soul history. Then afterwards maybe there's going to be some questions regarding that story. After that we are going through pictures, and after that, if we will gonna have some more time and will, we can check some additional questions if there's going to be some. Is there something that you would like to say before we begin? So we will gonna start with 5 seconds concentration exercise. We are going to create an intention that we are willing to open your soul records, and after you will gonna feel ready about that, concentrated enough, please state it openly that you are willing to open your soul records by stating, "Please open my soul records." Soul apparently is mostly from this galaxy, that is Milky Way galaxy. It appears that it begins its evolution in the constellation called Draco. The story begins somewhat around 1.5 million years ago. It appears that there are natural forces in there, like an elemental forces. It is something similar what we have in our earthly culture, something like in China culture, but we have like a dragon spirits, and those spirits are like fire, water, earth, wind, but they have those spirits, they have like energy bodies or something like that, and apparently those traditions are coming from this Draco constellation, and in there seems to be something of that nature, that there were some kind of nature spirits which have been in dragon forms, and apparently your origin is in those nature spirits, dragon nature spirits from Draco constellation. It appears that there have been multiple planets in which your collective soul have been living. It appears that the planets in that constellation, they are somewhat interconnected, and they have some kind of energy field which connects all the planets, and they are like sharing their spirit. And this way the nature spirits, the elemental spirits, they can travel from one planet to another planet, and this way they are able to traverse space and time and share their experience. So your soul have been part of the collective spirit of those nature dragon elemental forces. Apparently mostly it was of water dragon, and it was lived like that for a long time before there were some kind of living creatures who appeared there and started to make adjustments. So those entities, apparently they have been of dragon humanoid nature, and they came from somewhere else and they just settled there. This is where the individual souls began to develop in that constellation. Apparently it's around 800,000 years ago. Then those Draco humanoids, they began to interact with nature spirits. That's how first individual souls, native individual souls, have been created there, and this is where your soul also began its experience. So the idea was in the beginning for your soul to basically orient itself and to start to understand the nature of its existence, why it exists and what is the purpose for its existence, what to do now. And apparently your soul has been a little bit unsettled and wasn't able to clearly define its purpose and direction in which it is willing to advance itself. So that created an opportunity for it to test itself in different conditions. And apparently it decided that it is willing to go somewhere else and to define itself this way. So the idea was to go to some planet or some place where it would be possible to understand yourself. A place had to be somewhat different in a way that it would make some kind of changes in the soul because of the strange environment in which your soul is going to reside. That strange environment is going to affect the soul. By that effect, it would define the soul's purpose. So the planet which has been chosen for that was the planet Terra, that is the planet Earth. And the idea was to come here and to start to define the soul's purpose. So by coming here, apparently it happened somewhat 650,000 years ago. There have been not much life on this planet at that moment, but the idea was to come early because it was known already that there's going to be a lot of life on this planet. It wasn't exactly sure how, when and why it will happen, but it was known that it was planned. So therefore it was decided to come here to this planet much before everybody else came. Apparently it has been claimed by spaceship with a Draco humanoid body. The spaceship have landed somewhere in what we are calling the South American continent, and apparently there have been few entities who came together and they began to live in there. There has been a long time, at least a couple of 100,000 of years, when you have been living in South America in those jungles. Mostly it was jungles back then. You had all the necessary means for survival. You had technology and everything what you needed to basically thrive in that region. There haven't been too many difficulties. Like it was living like that for at least 200,000 or 300,000 of years, up until approximately 100,000 of years. And then there have been a lot of life already everywhere. There have been a lot of colonies in the South America, and the newcomers, when they came, they kind of, well, let's just say they needed some guidance. And because your tribe has been living there for quite a long time, they became kind of like gods in a certain way. And those tribes began to worship in a certain way entities which had such an advanced technology. Actually, that dynamics have been going on for quite some time. Apparently, even to what we are calling today's civilization, that the people who came to live there have been a lot of Atlanteans from Atlantic Ocean civilization and other people who came there, and all of them kind of stuck to the idea of worshipping someone, and your tribe, and there have been others, who began this like a cult, a worship cult, by which other tribes have been worshipping your dragon ship as some kind of gods, and there have been certain misalignments of energies, let's just say wrong interpretations of certain rituals, which led to human sacrificing and certain things like that. It wasn't that your dragon tribe wanted that. It was more that there have been others who wanted that, but your tribe was also there, and there have been a lot of confusion because of that, and too much misunderstanding. Therefore, it turned out that like your dragon tribe have also, let's just say, maybe not encouraged those human sacrifices, but at least they haven't done anything to stop them either. After some time, your soul decided that it's time for a change. Apparently it was approximately 5,000 years ago that you decided to move away from South America and move to China. There have been also strong dragon influence, and it was something that your soul liked. And there have been something like also cult or something, because people have been worshipping dragons, and there have been something like dragon societies and things like that. Your soul liked that idea because dragons had certain influence, and you decided to be there. And there have been quite a few lives in that region up until maybe 2000 years before our time. There have been a lot of lives in China, and after that times began to change. We began to enter into more today's civilization, and then your soul decided to travel, to become like an adventurer, try to experience this world from other perspectives. So apparently your soul began to travel around the world and to let's just say experience life. And there have been other groups of people who traveled with you. It was more like some kind of group of adventurers who have been willing to travel around the world and experience all kinds of adventures. And after that, those journeys kind of lasted for quite some time, up until probably almost Middle Ages. Then in the Middle Ages, apparently your soul have been living in somewhere Roman Empire, and there have been crusades by the Christians, and apparently your soul joined the military, and it was, or at least it sounded like a good idea, how your soul could travel and experience adventures. So this way a lot of adventures have been experienced in Europe. In the middle of Europe, somewhere like in France, apparently, or some surrounding regions, was where your soul have lasted for quite a few lifetimes. Doesn't seem to be any particular reason for that. It seems more like the idea that the journey continues and the adventure is still going on, and it's like soul is still in that mood for that journey. Maybe the adventure, or to be more precise, maybe the journey have ended but adventure have not, and this way soul still feels like it wants to have this adventure, but now it is preparing for the next adventure, and the next adventure is going to be the extraterrestrial adventure. Apparently the soul is preparing for the departure, that it is growing for the journey beyond this planet. Soul have defined itself, and the purpose have been completed, that it was willing to understand itself, and it did understood that it likes adventures, that likes experiences, all sort of experiences, and that made it easier for itself to understand itself. And this way the soul kind of defined itself. It is a adventurous soul, and now this lifetime is more about the inner experience. It's about discovering the inner spirituality, because that is a certain thing, like a key, which is needed for their evolution. And this way, after a certain spiritual development is going to be further developed, then the soul is going to be ready to make a first contact. Apparently it's going to be somebody of a more humanoid race. It's going to be probably someone from Pleiades, but it's going to be just a warm-up, because next step is going to be meeting the dragon families from the draconian race, but it's a bit of extreme experience, because we are not used to this kind of beings. Our psychology is not adapted for that, so there's going to be a transitional period with the more human-like creatures, and then we will transition for the Dracos, which is something that your soul needs to experience to recover its story fully. So after that, your soul apparently will gonna leave this planet most likely after this lifetime, and is going to return to the Draco constellation. From there, it is planning on becoming apparently like an adventurer, someone who is going to travel a lot and experience a lot of adventures in other constellations, and apparently in other galaxies too. This way the soul is going to further define itself, and the way the soul is defining itself is as an adventurer, and it's going to be lasting for quite some time more, quite a few lifetimes. And after that, there's going to be something else, but it is a bit longer into the future. It appears these are the most obvious energies which have been seen. Is there any questions or something you would like to elaborate about? The main characteristics of the Draco civilization is strength and power. It's the distance, considering that we are living more like in Centaurus constellation, and the Draco is, quite a distance away, like half galaxy. But considering the technologies, it's not a long journey, but just in measuring, maybe it's long. Besides that, the Dracos, they are powerful beings. These are the base beings who are defining the words like power and strength. If we understand those words are being drawn from Dracos. These are the beings who are defining what's real strength is. So if you are familiar with those terminologies, then those terminologies are from your ancestors. And those civilizations, they are very technologically advanced, extremely technologically advanced, and maybe a bit too much advanced, because certain their experiments that they have done led into certain negative, let's just say, negative definitions, because we began to associate Dracos and reptilians with certain negative qualities, but it's not in all cases, at least not in your group case. It's just that some of those entities began to overindulge into the idea of power, and if the power is not balanced, then it can lead into certain overpowering ideas like control and trying to suppress somebody, and the Dracos, they have to learn those lessons, especially regarding their egos, that they would like to be very dominant. So we are learning those lessons, and the way your soul have evolved, it's not a traditional dragon's way, because usually we are very aggressive and dominating, but your soul, because it was not originally from the Dracos, it was more like a nature spirit which has been adopted by the Dracos, so it's kind of a mixture, and therefore there is certain gentleness in your soul, which is in the Draco's eyes weakness, but in actuality it's a strength if we can use that appropriately. So does that cover enough information for you, or you would like to adventures? It's a little bit other way around. Your soul came for definition, so it could define itself. What should I do? What to do with life? What life is? And in this planet, it have found the concept of adventures, and that concept have defined the soul's purpose, that adventure can be the reason for living, and that definition created the purpose for the soul. Probably the last one incarnation on this planet, there is a slight probability for the one more incarnation, but even if it's going to be a very short one, because if you will decide that, for example, you would like to leave this planet with the human body and would like to get a fresh human body, then you would reincarnate one more time, have a young body and live with that. But it's apparently not very important, because you can just get another body, like a clone body or whatever. It's not that important, but there is certain probability that you might think about it. It's just in the future for you to decide. Maybe we should take a look at the pictures. So in the first picture, this is Mother. This entity, which you're calling Mother, she has certain similar soul genetics. That was the reason why you have been together, like mother and son, because she is coming from similar soul genetics, and it's hard, it's not so easy to say where exactly that genetic similarity is coming from. Apparently it has something to do with the Dracos, but that was the reason why this person became your mother. It was because she had certain vibrational frequencies which have matched yours, and apparently the Dracos were usually sticking together because of the vibrational compatibility, and this is the reason why the person decided to give you the birth, because it was easy for her to do because of that vibrational compatibility. and it was like a contract. You made a contract. You needed someone, some channel through which you can come through, and this person was open for that contract. The vibrational compatibility was apparent, and therefore the contract was made for this lifetime. In the next picture, we are seeing a girlfriend. This entity, apparently there are some, let's just put it, strong energies about your contact. There are certain energies which are not completely resolved. That meaning that you have been together before, few lifetimes at least, and there have been certain energetic misalignments, meaning like conflicting energies, and your relationship is useful for both of you because it has a certain dynamics which provokes certain energies, and this entity, this girlfriend, is able to provoke certain strong energies which you need, which became, let's just put it this way, dormant, sleepy, and this entity is able to re-evoke those energies, and therefore it is useful for you to communicate, because even though your soul has certain gentle nature, but it is still a dragon soul, and this entity has certain ideas that it would like to see those strong sides of you. And even if it means that entity has to push you sometimes into the corner, that is only to awake your inner strength, and that is something that is needed of you, and therefore this entity is here to almost, we could say, train you to become, for you to become a better version of yourself, stronger one. In the next picture, there is a best friend, a girl. So this entity is of a different nature. Actually, with this person, you have had past lives also. Apparently, the person who has been your sister, and this person is complete opposite of your girlfriend. This person is more into the gentle nature, and this person is here to like balance your girlfriend's like a pushy nature, to push you towards your potential, and best friend is here to balance those energies. She's your sister from the past life, which have decided to be there for you and just to calm you down if life appears to be getting rough with you. So this person is there to be a support for you if it seems like it's too much, but actually it's not, because you can take much more than you can think of. In the next picture, there is father. The father is also has certain dragon origins. If this person you have met before, you had lives before, apparently when you were serving in crusades, the person has been your superior, like somebody who was directly in charge of you, and the person wanted to see its soldiers becoming strong, and the person decided to do it one more time. It's difficult to say why exactly you became this entity's son. It seems it was more like accident almost, because the person was looking for someone from his battalion so he could be directly in charge again. And it appears that you have been like in the spiritual neighborhood, and the person said, I know this guy, he is going to be under my supervision again. I'm going to watch over it. And that's how you came here to this family. Apparently it could have been somebody else, but it seems like you have been next one in the row, the first one probably, and therefore he picked you, but he could have picked somebody else. Picture, it is brother. The brother is not of dragon origins. Apparently the person has certain other origins. Might be somebody from Major constellation, most likely, because it appears that a person has certain qualities of both humanoids, and these entities have been in strong relationship with draconians and reptilians, and apparently this person is here to show you the other way. This person had to be in your life, and it shows so, because you have seen that it can influence you in certain positive way, and decided that it's going to be useful for you to be together. And well, let's just hope that it's going to work out the way it was planned. So, is there any more questions that you would like to ask? It appears that your relationship with brother is going to be in certain, let's just say, like a wavy form. Apparently, you will connect and disconnect. This dynamics is useful in a certain way because you both need to go through certain like personal development, and you will meet in different times in your lifetimes. Then you are going to both be in different stages of your evolution, and it's not like what you need to seek for him. It's going to be more like a natural process that you will gonna feel drawn together, and it would seem like you need to, like, you will feel that there is something that we need to talk about, and then the things will start to begin, and you will exchange certain types of information or energies, and then it might cool off again, and you might split again, and after some time you might get together again. It is something which will gonna be guided from certain higher forces, because that's how this dynamic should go. Apparently that's how it is healthiest for you, it appears. Obviously the arts, any kind of arts, is something that your soul should be good at because of its gentle nature, but also we have to consider other kinds of arts. Your soul needs to develop certain strengths inside of itself, and those other arts, what we should point out, is the martial arts. So if that is something that you have not considered before, that would be something that you should, because you will awake certain energies which needs to be awakened, and that energy, if you will try some kind of martial arts, you have to obviously find something that suits you best. Maybe something from Chinese martial arts, because you had some time in there. So anyway, the important thing is that after you will start with the martial arts, you will awake certain dormant energies, and you will gonna feel certain drive inside of yourself. That drive is going to be your base energy, the Draco energy, which is going to teach you certain, let's just say, like an path. And that path is a different path that you have been used to, because with the music and all of that, usually the musicians, they tend to look for vibrational frequency. That is, when you're creating music, you are looking for the sound, for that vibration, and then you try to attune yourself to that vibration. But what is needed now more is not to find the vibrational frequency, but to make it, or more like pave it. So after you will learn to pave vibrational frequencies and create your own vibrational frequencies, this is going to be like a game changer, and you will understand how to find a way, because it's not going to be defined by the circumstances, like where is my vibrational frequency. It's going to be made by you, and you will say, this is going to be my vibrational frequency because I said so. So that's what you need to learn at this moment. Well, the Pleiades are a certain group of entities. They are found in Taurus constellation. It's a group of stars, and they are very human-like. They are very sensitive and very vibrationally oriented. It's easy to communicate with them because they are very human-like, and these are entities who are going to be one of the first entities that we are going to experience on this planet, and they are going to be your first guides also, which are going to help you to attune to the galactic pulse instead of only human pulse. So these entities are highly vibrationally advanced. They do not prefer power over consciousness, and their idea of life is all about the harmony, and they are going to help you to attune to your vibrational frequency. It's just that also you need to find your vibrational frequency, and that's something you will have to do by yourself, but they are going to help you to tune your musical instrument, your body, your soul, to certain vibrational frequency. They are going to assist you in that nature, and that's their job. That's what they do. They are the guides for humanity. They have certain genetical properties which we as humans have inherited from them, and they feel like they have to do those things that we are doing because they are like genetical ancestors to our physical genes. Therefore, they feel like they are obligated to guide and assist us. So you are not an exemption from this agenda of theirs. Yes. So this information that we have experienced now, all these energies, they have brought new ideas, new thoughts, new experiences, and therefore these energies might be somewhat not ordinary. Therefore, it is useful to further experience them and delve deeper into them. So if, for example, you are practicing meditation, it is possible to go into meditation and to further experience them. If it is easy for you to dream, you have a lot of dreams, you can go to sleep with those energies and during the night you will gonna dream the furthering of those energies in the dream state. So this way you can experience it more. And after that, in around 1 week's time, because we have made a recording of this session, so it's going to be posted on the YouTube, so you will be able to listen to it and re-experience it again, because it might have been a lot of information for one time, so therefore it's going to be easier to reflect again and to listen and maybe delve deeper and to remember what had happened. And always you will be able to re-listen it and to remember. One more thing what needs to be said is that there is much more appears to your story than we have been able to cover. Obviously there is a lot of more, but there is another aspect. It appears that aspect is connected with your brother. Your brother's picture have opened at certain energies, and it is connected with Canis Major, with the wolf humanoids. Apparently there is a part of your story in there which we have passed, apparently because this part was more important for the moment, but there have been certain, let's just say, incarnations there also. After you have left the Draco, you have had certain incarnations in Canis Major, and there you have picked up certain qualities also. But it appears that it's a story for another time. Maybe you could just meditate on that and remember it yourself. It was very nice to serve you, sir. We are hoping that we have been able to serve you well and to provide you some kind of value for your time. So if the information you have received have been useful, so it is possible to give thanks for that, and there are ways to provide gratitude in our website below the agreed terms of the conversation. Okay, so thank you for your time, and for the moment, we wish you all the best.